right, welcome. Today we have Nathan and Michael from the Power Trip podcast. They're here to join us and let them introduce themselves.
Hey guys, my name is Michael Hamilton. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Power Trip podcast, Journey Through the Power Rangers franchise, where we talk about Power Rangers and we focus on the Ranger teams, the Zords, all the stuff that makes up that show and makes it wonderful, while also exploring the thematic stuff found in Power Rangers. I started rewatching the franchise back in 2020 because there was literally nothing else to do during quarantine, and fell back in love with it and started to notice that there was some things in that franchise that warranted a podcast. And so I started it here with my good friend Nathan, and I'm also the co-host of another show with our mutual co-host Travis Alexander called Kaiju Weekly, where we talk about giant monster movies, giant monster TV shows, just basically the giant monster
and Star Crash
and the giant monster genre in general. And we don't take ourselves too seriously while doing it because our rating system, shut up, Nathan. Our rating system is based on 5 Godzukis. If anyone's familiar with the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla show, it was that. It's from that. So, Nathan, go ahead and plug all the stuff you want to plug.
And Star
Crash. No, I am Nathan Marchand. I am, as he said, I am Michael's co-host on the Power Trip, a Journey Through the Power Rangers franchise. But he's covered all that already. I am also the co-host of 2 other podcasts because I'm insane. One being Henshin Men, a podcast about the appreciation of Japanese superheroes and their high-flying and high-kicking adventures.
And sexy Rangers.
Yeah, no. That has not been on the show. At least Star Crash has been on your show. Anyway, with our co-host in common, Mr. Travis Alexander, and we are currently, our big project right now, our main project is going through the original Kamen Rider, but we've taken...
And Sexy Rangers.
Not yet! You have... I don't care what you watch in your downtime, but don't share it with me. you dove into some deep, dark corners of Tubi. You've told me about some of the things you found on there.
This is true.
Anyway, we've also covered some things if we needed to take a break from Kamen Rider, because the original Kamen Rider is 98 episodes. We do it 2 episodes at a time. We've also done some Ultraman. We've done Hokkaider. So we take a break and do some movies. One of my favorite ones was Super
Venus Rangers.
Super what?
You've never even seen that one. You barely know it exists. Anyway. And then my main show is the Monster Island Film Volta podcast, seeking entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu, which we talked before about the Power Trip having an academic approach. This does the same thing, except I'm looking at kaiju and tokusatsu films, and I've gone into some TV on occasion too, and bringing my master's degree in English to forbear in that one, and analyzing those things and talking about the history and culture surrounding each one to put them in their proper context, because a lot of these things are, for us as modern day Americans, we're separated by time and culture with it, and I'm trying to help bridge that gap, because let me tell you, once I learned some of these things, the backgrounds, the backdrops, I gained a greater appreciation for all of these things, and these were things that I've been a fan of since I was a wee lad. So
hence Yeti.
No. The best part about Yeti was we had a drunk fella on the show for that one.
All right, anytime you got a drunk guy on the show, it's always going to be gold.
Drunk guy. Yes, drunk guy. Yeah, totally don't know who he is. Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, and I'm also, this is not my show personally, but I'm also a cast member on Power Rangers, the audio drama produced by Carl Dutton's Scyther podcast. I appeared in 1 episode and a couple of bit parts, and then I joined the main cast in the next episode as Rito's brother.
Nice. Rito
Hey, Ed,
Revolta.
how's it going? Yeah.
I
So-
hate Rito. He destroyed the Thunder Megazord.
Yeah, well, it's the best thing I ever did.
That's probably the only successful thing he's done on that show, actually.
Unfortunately, yes. But only on that show. I'm a little bit more successful.
That's
Oh,
enough,
my God.
Nathan. That's enough. We don't have time. We got to make
I know.
this into at least an hour's podcast. Okay, come on.
That's not going to be hard for me.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well,
Yeah. So that covers basically everything. And in terms of podcasts, I do some other things outside of that. But those are the
You're an
big
accomplished
podcast
writer.
things. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a published author, both fiction and nonfiction.
Oh, wow.
Got some novels to my name and some nonfiction books as well. So
I got some amazing grocery lists to my name. I mean, real page turners.
I have seen some grocery lists that are masterpieces. Let me tell you.
Pulitzer Prize winning.
Yes.
And speaking of writing, Nathan here also writes for a project that our friend Travis and I started back in 2020 called Kaiju Ramen, which is a magazine dedicated to the giant monster genre. In a similar vein, if any of your listeners are familiar with Famous Monsters of Filmland or G-Fan magazine, it's in that vein, but it is really just a magazine dedicated to fans, and it's put together by a great group of fans. We have a good core of editors and writers that we're pulling from, but it's more so just a passion project. And if you want to learn more about that, just go to kaijuramenmedia.com, and you're going to find everything else that we're involved in there too as well.
And Henshin and the Power Trip and Kaiju Weekly are all part of the Kaiju Ramen Podcast Network.
I love the announcer voice. I'm just waiting to hear. And now, coming up to bat for the Yankees.
He was born
Which
with
announcer
that,
voice? There's been a couple of them.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to a little bit more of our discussion here.
Sure.
Personally, I found y'all through the podcast on Spotify and stuff. I was searching, trying to find something because I'm a big fan of Power Rangers. I was trying to find some kind of podcast where it actually talked about the show and not just some person commentating like, "Oh, that was a cool backflip." Oh, that something that actually seemed like they knew what they were talking about. And somebody that actually would give a little more insight besides just that's a cool Zord. It's like,
Man, would you look at
Did
that
he come
right
to the
there?
right show, Michael? I'm not sure.
I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out soon if he came to the right show or not.
you'd be surprised on how just boring some of those podcasts would be. Like I was looking for the information behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff, and I found y'all, and I've listened to every episode so far that y'all
This
had
is
for the
a-
Power Trip.
Including our epic episode on Time Force.
Yes, I just listened to that this week.
Yeah.
I've listened.
That thing's Lord of the Rings long.
Yeah, it's what was it, 3.5 hours?
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's the longest podcast I have ever done.
Well, the recording time on that though was I think it was closer
4
to
hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours 15 minutes.
Yeah, we thought our in space episode was going to be long, and I think that recording was 3.5, and you, by some act of Godzilla, you managed to chop it down to 2.5. I was impressed.
Well, it's our format. Our format where we're not, like you said, we're not just a lot of Ranger podcasts will go episode by episode, and they'll kind of analyze it that way, which is fine. It works for a lot of shows. But that's not something that Nathan and I wanted to do. We wanted to actually watch these contextually as a whole and not just talk about how cool the Zords are or how awesome the Ranger suits are, all the the stuff that people already kind of know. We wanted to examine the franchise from a more academic thematic and examine the thematics of this franchise. Because I think that, and as we were kind of digging around, there's really no scholarship on Power Rangers, and probably for good reason. No one has, people write off Power Rangers as just this campy kid show. But like I said early on in the in the introduction, during 2020, I was going back through and watching this and just expecting just to be entertained and kind of scratch my nostalgia itch a little bit. But as I'm continuing to watch through these different seasons, I think it was around it may have been around Lightspeed Rescue. It started to click oh wow, there's some really deep stuff in this franchise that kind of gets overlooked. in favor of like the campiness and the childishness of what this show can be.
And that's what I really liked.
I got up with.
I really liked comparing things like Clash of the Titans and Oedipus and all that stuff to what's happening in the show. There's stuff that revolves around
Oedipus.
Oedipus Rex.
That's the English major in me coming out talking about Oedipus.
They're talking about how
I know exactly what
compare.
episode and what character and what season that's about.
I was like, what episode was that?
That was Lightspeed Rescue and
Prince Olympius.
Yes, Olympius, because he's a little too much of a mama's boy.
a little too much.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah, because
borders on it.
I like how y'all compare the Sentai with the regular.
But we're doing this because the thing is that there's been a lot of other franchises and pop culture media that has gained the attention of scholarship in the last few decades. It took, for example, comic books and superheroes used to be looked at as childish, disposable entertainment. And then within the last 40, 50 years, especially the last 20, I would say, it's taken a heck of a lot more seriously, which is why it astonishes me that something like Power Rangers, which is, it's a superhero show, I don't understand. And then, you have other Japanese media like Godzilla and Kaiju and all that, even American monster movies like King Kong are getting a lot of scholarship about them. And yet, something like Super Sentai, like Power Rangers, that has elements of both, somehow gets overlooked. And it just seems so incredibly strange to me because I'm a connoisseur of comic books. I've loved superheroes since really, even before I discovered Kaiju. And the idea that none of that spilled over just astonished me. And Michael and I have joked on numerous occasions that the Power Trip is basically us putting our private conversations to record. Because we will talk on the phone for sometimes hours about all of these things. And we're like, how has no one else not seen this?
It came about because of something you did actually on your other show, MIFV, because you were, and I'll let you tell this story, but I'll just kind of tell it from my perspective really quick. You can go into more detail, Nathan. But you came to me looking for a character that you could include in your audio segment, and I recommended one to you.
Yeah, it's something I should explain. The format for my flagship show, the Monster Island Film Vault, is a little unusual. It started initially with me just, because I had done a Kaiju podcast before, and I wanted to do my own this time. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I spent a lot of time watching a lot of like the Channel Awesome personalities, and what they like to do is they built characters, these kind of caricatures of themselves. And one in particular that I liked was Linkara, and he would do whole storylines. Well, I decided to try something in the vein of, I don't know if anyone here has ever heard of a podcast called Welcome to Night Vale. Anyone heard of that?
One.
Actually very popular. And the shtick of that one was that it was actually supposed to be a morning radio show in a town where lots of weird things happen, but most of the time nobody in the town is fazed by it. It's just normal. So that's kind of the joke with it.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to do something like that, and also to tap into the experience I had as a college student where I got to intern at a radio station. So I came up with this whole thing where it was supposed to be a radio show. The podcast was a radio show on Monster Island, which is the location from Godzilla films where all the monsters hang out. And now there was a resort and a radio station, all this sort of stuff. And it was meant to just be a setup to do reference jokes and all that. And then as more people came on and they started making up funny stories about how they got to the island and things like that, it quickly turned into an audio drama of sorts. Now, the show is still primarily film discussion and appreciation, but there will be these segments in the show that are story based, and that's where Michael comes in. So I just want to make sure I set that up for everybody.
Michael?
Are you? I'm sorry. I was gonna. You just cut that out. I was gonna let you finish it because I thought you were gonna.
I was finished.
Well,
He even segued to you.
well, I know he did, but typically Nathan will finish that story with. He came to I was in the middle of my Power Rangers watch. I had gotten up to In Space, and he came to me. He said, "I'm looking for a character that can be kind of the PR director for this island this fictitious island where I live and work at this radio station." And I kind of thought about it. I was like, "Well, what about Astronema?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what I said was I wanted it to be someone because I had been turning the mysterious board of directors, the bosses of the island, into villains on the show. Mm-hmm. They were constantly antagonizing. I call him MIFV Nate. They were constantly antagonizing him, so I wanted to add a character who was their PR director, but I wanted to be somebody who could be kind of villainous, but not really. Mm-hmm. Kind of have a foot in both camps.
So I just threw out Astronema because if you go back and watch In Space, Astronema is evil, but not necessarily by choice. That the evil is it's something that she grew up with, but she always questioned her identity as a villain. And I said, well, what about Astronema? And we kind of mulled it over, and Nathan went and watched In Space to kind of get an idea of who this character was because he wasn't familiar with her.
Not familiar enough. I had some recollection from the bits that I caught of In Space growing up, but I definitely needed a refresher.
And now you're really familiar.
He's very
I am
familiar.
now a raging Melody Perkins Astronema fanboy.
He is who I lovingly call the Astronema simp. But
let's just say sometimes I wish I was a Clipter.
But
I'm totally kidding on that.
But a Clipter was supposed to be her father figure, Nathan.
I know, it's getting weird. Anyway,
we're going into some weird territory.
Sometimes I wish I was Zane. Does that make it less weird?
Yeah,
okay, that'll work.
All right, that'll work.
That works. That works a little bit better. But to save your listeners the long drawn out story, because there was some parts in between.
Does she know
Nathan
about
discovered.
What?
Does she know about this?
I didn't catch that part. What?
Does she know about this? Is what he asked.
Well, I actually did try messaging her to get her to come on the power trip, and she hasn't replied yet.
Well, I'm supposed to work at the Ranger Stop and Pop thing as like a security person here in June. I'll let her know.
Oh, thanks.
That may or may
Can
not
you call
benefit
these
you.
guys? I mean, Michael and I have toyed with trying to get over there to Ranger Stop, but we don't know if we can make it happen.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be actually be going on vacation either that month or the next month. So I'm probably not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to afford 2 vacations that close together. But anyway,
yeah. But tell her to check her Twitter messages and tell us yes or no. That'd be great.
Anyway, fast forward. Nathan fell in love with In Space, and that caused him to.
I thought he was going to say Astronema, but okay.
No, I'm going to be nicer
That's implied.
than that, Nathan. It's implied. In Space is just a euphemism for.
Gotta go with the blue hair, man.
I don't know. I was partial to purple myself, but so Nathan goes back. He watches the show, and we have these long, drawn out conversations about thematics within In Space. Starting out, he goes back to revisit Mighty Morphin and Zyuranger. And then
the Power Purge happened.
And then the Power Purge happened from Netflix.
Oh my gosh. I binged everything from Alien Rangers all the way through Turbo in a month.
Yeah.
So that's all
we
you
decided
watch.
just to put, yeah, pretty much. So like Nathan said, we just kind of decided to put our private conversations to record, and hopefully people have enjoyed it thus far.
Yeah, this was also meant to be a companion piece to an article series that you're writing for Kaiju Ramen.
Yeah, issue 5 was the first article in that series. The second article will come out in the next couple of months with issue 6. The next article will focus squarely on Green with Evil, because that whole it's amazing to think that 5-part episode in that campy kid show has spawned so much lore within this franchise.
Yeah, in fact, Michael is also a patron for the Monster Island Film Vault, and he one of the tiers that I offer is people can sponsor episodes, and if they want, they can come on and talk about whatever it is that they chose. And he chose Green with Evil, so which as basically a little kind of like spin-off tie-in to the Power Trip. So if you want to hear us really do a deep dive focus episode on just Green with Evil, check out I think it's episode, I want to say 60? Is it 60, 61?
60 or 61.
I think it's 61. I'm pretty sure it's 61. It's episode 61 of the Film Vault. And we also did a focus episode with Travis as a crossover with Henshin Men on A Friend in Need, because that was the introduction of Masked Rider. And if you listen to Henshin Men, or Kaiju Weekly for that matter, you know that Travis is a raging Kamen Rider fanboy because he's a toku hipster, and that's what he's into.
All I know is if Hayden was here, he'd be incredibly lost.
Now, because I've looked at some of the Kamen Rider, they have some of it on Tubi that you can watch. So
yep, there's a lot of it on Tubi, and at the moment, I think most of what you can watch legally in the States is through Shout Factory. You can only stream it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not very many.
There aren't very many with physical media. There's I think one or two that you can watch through the Toku channel on Amazon that are subtitled anyway. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of it's a little wonky. Last I checked, checked it.
Yeah, it's not as prevalent, at least here in the West, as say Power Rangers / Sentai or even Ultraman. Which is essentially Japan's Superman is Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
And that franchise has gotten a really big uptick in the last. I think it's been like 2 years, right, Nathan? That Mill Creek has been
2 or 3 years.
About 2 or 3 years that Mill Creek has been putting out all these physical media releases of the Ultraman franchise, and we've seen a massive uptick for that particular one.
I mean, Shin Ultraman just came out in Japan this week.
It's true, yeah.
I've gotten some sort of inside information that says it's going to come to the States sooner than we might have thought.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping so, because I would love to go to I'd love to meet up with some people and go to an IMAX and watch it together. But
I don't know if it'll get an IMAX release.
Maybe we'll see. But we'll meet up. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's like Nathan said. We were just kind of going on this journey together because we think that even kids media like Power Rangers deserves some level of academic evaluation, because you can pull things from it that are, worth thinking about. Especially,
I took a class as a graduate student that was a lit class on children's literature. It's taken seriously as part of scholarship. It's just that I guess because these are not quote unquote classic books, or fairy tales or whatever, it's television, it's it's new stuff, it's pop culture. It's not taken as seriously. I have a book of academic essays that actually, and I used this particular essay from this book as a source in one of my papers that actually advocates for pop culture scholarship and articulated very good points about why it's important. So we saw a need, and we decided to put Michael's nostalgia and fanboyishness and my academic credentials together to make the Power Trip.
Yeah, and it makes for some really good conversations, and it is different than all the other Ranger podcasts that are out there. Because, like I said, a lot of the Ranger podcasts, and a lot of them are great. They go episode by episode, whereas we're focusing on a season as a whole, like searching for its thematics. And the last thing I was going to say, I lost. So Nathan, continue to talk while I think about what I'm going to say next. I'm sure that's not a problem for you, buddy.
No, I'm just not entirely sure what to bring up next, unless there's some questions you guys have more specifically about the Power Trip that we can answer for you.
Well, I was going to ask, are y'all planning to go through every season all the way up to the current one?
Yes, we are going all the way through. We have it all scheduled out. We're going to go all the way through at least Dino Fury. We know that the 30th anniversary season is next year, and there's also that little David Yost miniseries that he's been trying to get made, and it seemed like that was making some progress. But there's also the 30th anniversary season, so there's a lot. And then you got the quote unquote PRCU, so we're just like, we don't know what's going to happen exactly after Dino Fury, but there's more Power Ranger media coming for sure. So we're still kind of trying to figure that out. We definitely want to do the 30th anniversary season because the story that we're hearing now is that it's going to be the end of Power Rangers as we know it. Yeah, they're after the 30th anniversary season. Sounds like Hasbro is ending Power Rangers Association with Super Sentai.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
they're
heard.
going to start making all their own stuff.
That's what I heard. They're essentially
and it's going to be a complete reboot. They're not going to continue the continuity that they've been following.
They're not
going to
bring Tommy Oliver back every couple of seasons and just be like, look, he's still around. The Ultimate Ranger.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how what's the next step for Hasbro, because I'm looking forward to getting to those later seasons like Beast Morphers, Dino Fury, because in my opinion, I think that Hasbro has stewarded the franchise well up to this point. They came in right after they took over the franchise right after I think it was Samurai. Ninja Steel. Sorry, yeah. Ninja Steel. They took over the franchise right after Ninja Steel, and they've done a pretty good job of stewarding the franchise. It still feels in parts, a little uneven, like they're still trying to find their footing with it. But, they've done much better with it than, say, Disney did with, that era of Power Rangers.
Well, there's we're in the middle. In terms of upcoming episodes and our recording schedule, we just started the Disney era. But looking at it, having not watched all of it in its entirety yet, we do feel like the Disney era is fairly uneven. It has several really nice high points, but then it's got a lot of mediocre from what we can tell in it, and then it has its own turbo in Operation Overdrive, near as we can tell.
Yeah.
So, but then but honestly, we're kind of dreading Neo Saban because we're like, oh, we watched Legendary Battle and it hurt. I'm kind of viewing it as a new adventure because my nostalgia for Power Rangers ends at around Lost Galaxy. That's where I sort of fell off with the franchises around Lost Galaxy. I remember some of Lightspeed Rescue. I vaguely remember Time Force. But as far as like the Disney era stuff, I don't have any like working knowledge going forward. Yeah. I don't have any working knowledge going forward for that. But I'm viewing it weird as this. Well, is chronologically snobby as this might sound. That is a term I got from C.S. Lewis. To be honest, even with Turbo, I still feel like, and Michael agrees with me, and maybe our minds will change by the end of this first run of the Power Trip, but we still feel like the original Saban era was the most consistently good.
Yes.
Well, it's because it grew up with it's because it grew up with its audience. Like if you look where the show started with Mighty Morphin and the theme of coming of age and then change with season 2. All the way up to the very mature themes that they're messing around with in Time Force, like that franchise did grow up with its audience, and I think it just kind of started over and started from the ground up with Wild Force all the way through the Disney era because they were solely focused on just getting new viewership with the young teens or kids demographic. They weren't, I feel like the benefit you have with the early Saban stuff, those first 9 seasons, is they were really paying attention to those themes because they knew that the audience was also growing up and maturing while watching this show.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you were saying, that's kind of where I fell off was Lost Galaxy. As I was growing up, I kind of got out of Power Rangers around that time, and now I've come back and tried to watch. because like I hadn't seen. I saw Super Mega Force just because it had the nostalgia of all the old costumes and stuff, and then that kind of brought me back in, just wanting to watch all the other seasons that I'd missed. So
Right. Yeah.
Megaforce is confusing because they were kind of lazy with the Sentai footage and technically included footage that had quote-unquote Rangers that technically didn't exist in Power Ranger canon, but they did in Super Sentai.
They're just like, hey, check that out.
Well, Megaforce and Super Megaforce are interesting seasons is an interesting kind of duology in a whole because it's pulling from two separate Sentais. It's pulling from I think it's Gokaiger. I think it's Gokaiger or Gokaiger, which is the pirate themes, and then you have with Super Megaforce. The name of it escapes me, but it was actually an angel theme. Like the theme for that Sentai was angels and kind of that mysticism surrounding that mythology. And it's a really interesting combination. Now, I fully recognize that there are a lot of younger fans, especially that have been listening to our show that may have come in at a Megaforce or even
Michael. It's Go Stager and Go Kaiger.
Go Stager and Go Kaiger. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the fact check.
Thank you for the fact. I can always count on Nathan for the fact check because I have been going through Sentai as well, but I've not made it to modern era Sentai. I'm still stuck on. I think I just finished Go-Go 5, which was Lightspeed Rescue.
Okay.
Speaking of fact checking, one of my favorite moments in the podcast so far is when I fact check.
We're not
gonna
bring that up now, Nathan. We'll save that for later. But what I was gonna say was, like, we've noticed that a lot of the listeners that are listening to our show did not necessarily start when we started. They're not the old school fans that maybe started with Mighty Morphin. Maybe they came in somewhere around Lost Galaxy or Wild Force or that Disney era. We're gonna have a good friend of ours, Kim, Kaiju Kim, on for Dino Thunder. Okay. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's where she started, was with Dino Thunder.
I don't remember. I just know that that's her favorite. Because we were asking our podcast and YouTuber friends, hey, we want to have guests on the show after the Saban era. Which of these do you like the most? And Kim told us that she loves Dino Thunder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I hate all of this stuff.
I'm looking forward to that one because Dino Thunder. I've seen it. I watched it once before. I'm going to go back and rewatch it for the episode, and it's very much in the same vein as that original series, but it's, as Nathan and I were talking earlier today, it's refined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Dino Thunder is one of those Disney era highlights that I mentioned.
I think I'm a Ranger snob.
You like all the Rangers?
I'm wondering now. Explain.
It's like all these seasons of Rangers. I remember seeing on TV, my niece was watching one, and it was the Pirates or whatever, and he's got this blunderbuss that looks like it got made by Nerf. And I'm like, what is this? This isn't Power Rangers. I was like, this is dumb. I was like, that guy is so rare. He's dressed up like a pirate. I'm like, it's 2020. Why is he dressed up like a pirate? What's their Megazord? A boat?
Yes.
Dude, Sentai is nuts.
Sentai is very weird. Yeah.
I just this week I rewatched the Dino Thunder episode where they just dubbed over an episode of the Sentai that they got the show from, and it shows you just how nuts Super Sentai is.
I always knew Super Sentai was off the walls, but starting out with Mighty Morphin and then to Zeo, and then we had Turbo, which was and then In Space.
Well, you heard our episode on this. The big problem with Turbo is that it's based on a parody season of Sentai.
Yeah.
It was Super Sentai making fun of itself, which is why the monsters are outrageous, and then there are these weird gags that
baking themselves into pizza.
Yeah.
I'll show you, Rangers. 20 minutes in the oven.
Monster Papa John.
Yeah, Monster Papa John.
We're gonna toss your salad.
Oh God.
You ready for this cheesy crust?
Yeah. So that's why there's all these absurd things in there, but the problem was Turbo was still trying to at least be semi-serious, and it just doesn't mesh when you've got things like Tommy looking at the driver's manual for his Zord, and it doesn't make sense.
It's you're not supposed to look at the manual. You're the Red Ranger. You just know how it works.
And that's why that and Diva Talks. Those are the big problems I have with Turbo, and it's like, just embrace one tone or the other. Okay,
pick one, not both.
Fully embrace the parody, or keep to your semi-serious tone you had before this, and that's why it drove me nuts watching it.
Turbo, I hated because that's when Tommy left, and more importantly, when Cat left.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that if it wasn't for Turbo, we wouldn't have gotten In Space.
True.
So,
yes, In Space was definitely a step back up.
They basically made In Space in response to the reception to Turbo.
It's like, all right, we effed up. We gotta come out guns swinging.
And I don't have the grudge. I don't hold the grudge against Turbo as other fans do. Not even. I think Nathan holds a bigger grudge against Turbo than even I do. And it's not because of Diva Talks either. I actually did watch Turbo, so I do have a nostalgic connection to Turbo that it's silly and it's inconsistent and it's terrible, but I'm willing just to kind of go with it, because as much as people want to kind of itch and complain about how it almost killed the franchise, it didn't. So get over it.
Yeah, but In Space saved it. If it wasn't for In Space, Turbo would have killed it.
It's true. In Space, I will fully acknowledge In Space saved it. I just think the Turbo hate and the Turbo itching gets a little bit old after a while.
Yeah, but we've still got a couple more ahead of us. That you're not going to have nostalgia to save it for you.
No, I'm not.
Not even Megaforce.
Well, I don't want to infringe.
I mean, I've already said, I watched Legendary Battle, and I said the Nostalgia Rangers can't save it for me. That is my new name now for anytime they bring back old Rangers.
They really push the nostalgia stuff. They've been really pushing it ever since Forever Red.
Oh, hard.
And Forever Red was to me, that's the second coolest scene in Power Rangers. I think
Forever Red is great.
Forever Red is fun, but Forever Red, when I did the research and found out the behind-the-scenes stuff, every time I watch it now, all I keep thinking is, you could have been so much cooler. You're fine, but you could have been amazing.
I remember seeing it on YouTube, because I hadn't seen it when it was on TV. I was already kind of done with Power Rangers at that point, and I was like, why are they fighting the Beetleborgs?
Yeah, that's so confusing. But I'm just like, you barely eke out at a 7, but you could have been a 12. Because I looked into what they were originally hoping to do with that. And I'm just like, oh, good Lord.
It was originally supposed to be a 3-part.
It was going to be 3 parts. They were going to have Rocky in it. Having the Quantum Ranger was a last-minute change. But they were planning on having Rocky, and I think he was going to wear the red ninja.
Yeah, the Ninjetti. He was going to bring in the Ninjetti powers.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, so because when you watch Forever Red now, it's just like bam, 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 bam. It does not slow down, and the Danny Slavin from Lightspeed Rescue is barely in it.
Yeah.
And Orico, the red Alien Ranger, he's even more barely in it.
He's suited up the entire time.
Yeah, I mean he barely even has any lines. So I'm just like, my gosh, it should have been 3 parts.
And awesome.
And they also should have given it more money so that they couldn't have had the ugliest Serpentera ever.
They had shrunk by a substantial amount.
Yeah, because that CGI Serpentera is awful. But when you look at the practical Serpentera from Mighty Morphin Season 2, that thing is full of Lovecraftian terror.
Oh yeah,
that thing scares me.
Which, if you watch Die Ranger, the whole concept behind Serpentera is it's this sentient god that comes and basically when there's a conflict on a certain planet, it comes and resolves the conflict by essentially saying, if you don't stop, I will destroy you. So Serpentera was not a mech in the Sentai. It was just a sentient robot dragon god.
Zord from space.
Not powered by AAA batteries?
Not powered by
He was definitely powered by D batteries. He was upgraded. He knew he was business.
Definitely upgraded. I mean, oh man, I remember when I was doing a Mighty Morphin rewatch just on my own, not for the Power Trip, and I would get a hold of Michael. I was like, okay, I know some key episodes are coming up, and I want to watch them with you on a Netflix party. There was one from Mighty Morphin season 3 that I think was it season 3? When was the wedding? Was that season 3? Was that season? No, season 2.
Oh, you're talking about the two-parter that almost killed you.
Yeah, that almost killed me.
Yeah.
We were watching, and we get to the shot of Serpentera pulling the most obviously animated "just married" sign. I had to pause Netflix so I could fall on the floor and laugh, and I just get messages from Michael on the Netflix party chat, and he's like, "Are you okay?
Did you die?"
Where'd you go? Yeah.
Where'd you go? And I'm like,
kind of. Well, if you've watched Die Ranger, and that whole shot is set up just to give you a sense of scale for Serpentera, and the moon. It's shot against the moon, and it's just there to show how massive this beast is. And you have the "just married" sign being pulled behind it that just undermines the
terror. So blatantly animated in.
Right.
It was funny to me on multiple levels. First off, the big giant scary Mac pulling a "just married" sign. Second of all, it does not match the footage at all. It looks so obviously added.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so nuts. And Michael actually took a screenshot of that and then tweeted it out saying, "I killed Nathan with this."
The shot that killed the shot that killed Marchand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like that, what's like your favorite scene in all of the Power Rangers, and for me, it's when, it's a sad scene to me, but when they transfer the powers over and they become the Zeo Rangers and they first morph, and they take off their helmets and you hear the Zeo theme for the first time, and they turn over their shoulders and you see the back of the power chamber with the mannequins of the original Mighty Morphin suits. I'm goosebumps, tears, happiness. It kills me every time.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. The Ron Wasserman's original Go-Go Power Rangers theme will always be the Power Ranger theme. It is iconic for a reason. You can't take that away from it. But Godzilla dang it, is that Zeo theme just BA.
It's very good.
That was good. You came out of the gate with a 10 out of 10, but we're going to crank this up to 11 for this one.
Yeah, for sure. And and Wasserman just made some great themes for Power Rangers in general. I have made no secret that I'm not a fan of Turbo, but its theme song is one of its few saving graces. Mm. But I will say, if you're talking to me about favorite scene of Power Rangers so far, there's a couple that I would probably pick, but I got to be honest with you, that final battle between Andros and Astronema, there's so much writing in that, both in universe and metatextually. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of emotion in it because it's a conflict between a brother and a sister who's being manipulated and has basically been forced to be evil at that point when she was making the turn, and Andros does not want to hurt her. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to kill her. And, then you have him also trying to decide, do I kill Zordon or not? Because it's what Zordon told me to do, but I don't want to. There's so much tension and everything in there, and it's very intense.
It's like the end of Return of the Jedi. I would look at
that and say, what?
It's like the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
it's like the music. They're just pumping it all at you. It's just like, take it right in the heart. That's what you need.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it really is. And admittedly, it gets undermined a little bit the next scene because Deus Ex Machina magic tears, but okay.
I was like, she's fine. We're good.
Yeah. Sure. But whatever.
I have to say, being the fan of the Phantom Ranger, there's two parts that I've always liked. There's one where it's in Turbo, where he's trying to get his message out and let them know. He's staggering through the tunnels, trying to get back to his ship.
Yeah.
And then there's the one where he's in space and he's fighting off all of the armies and stuff just to get this message. Mm-hmm. He's fighting all the Quantrons and Piranhatrons and just doing backflips and kicks and just to get this message away to the in-space Rangers.
It's funny, he gets the message. He's got one of them in a headlock and he's just punching him in the face. And he's like, "Rangers, I have a message." There's just piles of dead.
I can multitask. I can punch you in the face and tell them what's going on.
Well, he's essentially got this futuristic flare gun because he just shoots this message off this pistol that goes off into space.
That's one way to send a
why
text.
But he had to get Zordon's location out, so. But yeah, I'm always
one of my favorite scenes actually really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the Rangers themselves. It was from Countdown to Destruction. It was the Vulcan Skull. We are the Power Rangers.
Oh, that was great too.
When the whole city stands up.
When Vulcan Skull stands up and say we're the Power Rangers.
It's their I am Spartacus moment.
Yeah.
Essentially, because I will argue that Vulcan Skull had some of the most meaningful story arcs throughout that original run of the show. Because when you're first greeted with Vulcan Skull, there's just these two bumbling idiots. They're they're cookie cutter bullies, high school bullies. But as
played by some very good actors,
they're very good.
Yeah, I mean, because it would be easy to make characters like that very cringy. But even when I went back and I watched, those early Mighty Morphin episodes, it's like, you know what, this isn't cringy.
No, they
like I would have thought it would be. Now I've watched some other stuff that that I was nostalgic for, and I'm like, oh,
this is bad.
But, looking at you, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Oh, that's the one with the guy that played Jack.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, yeah.
World? No, it's something Lawrence.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name, but yeah,
not Joey Lawrence,
him.
but his little brother.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, but Vulcan Skull, surprisingly, it still works. It's very kind of like Abbott and Costello.
They are.
Laurel and Hardy. It works.
I will say, for however good the Mighty Morphin theme is, their theme music is just on par. Because you immediately know you cannot have seen Power Rangers in 20 years. You hear that, and it's just like Vulcan Skull. You immediately know.
But no, Michael, you were talking about their story arc.
Yeah, their story arc. I was just gonna, and I'll make it brief, but that moment where they stand up and say we're the Power Rangers, because they spend a good part of like season 1 into season 2 trying to convince themselves and others around them that they are just as good as the Power Rangers. Like, well, we can be Power Rangers too,
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they do something meaningful in Countdown to Destruction where they do stand up and say, you know what, we're not going to take this. And they do embody. I think we talked about this during our In Space episode, Nathan, where I said that, in that moment, Vulcan Skull did embody the spirit of the Power Rangers. They may not have a Zord, they may not have the suits, but at least in that moment, they embodied the spirit of a Power Ranger. So, in my own way, I think that the writers, gave them their we are actually Power Rangers in this moment.
Yeah. It's something that I do think a lot of people in general, even some of the creators who work on superhero media, what I think they forget is it's not the powers, it's not the gadgets, it's none of the paraphernalia that makes someone a superhero. It's who they really are. That's what makes them heroes.
Well,
but the suits are really good.
If you took the powers away, is that character still a hero? Do they still embody what it means to be a hero?
Well, it's kind of like the Captain America movie.
And I think that's the ultimate test.
The Captain America movie where they throw the grenade and he's the only one that dives on it, even though he's not super yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Or I've read some Superman stories where he loses his powers, but he's still running around doing what he would do because that's what he does. He's Superman. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have his powers or not.
Right.
Well, that was also illustrated. I think, was it season 2 or was it season 3, Nathan? When you have the flashback of Doom from Goldar and Tommy.
Oh, it was the beginning of season 2.
It was season 2. Okay, where Tommy realizes that he doesn't need his powers to be a Power Ranger, quote unquote. Now we can debate on whether we hate JDF or not, but I personally love JDF. I think that I think he is the GOAT as far as like Power Rangers go.
Well, and I know people love him because they think he's overplayed, but
you mean hate?
I've met the man. The man does thinks of nothing when he's at a convention. Thinks of nothing but making his fans happy, even at his own expense. I mean,
he's Tommy
he
Oliver.
stayed for what was it? Because you said that you actually checked his social media and found out that he stayed at least an hour after the vendor hall closed?
No. Yeah, he was there for at least an hour. He did a Instagram live where he was literally the only vendor in the vendor hall, and he still had 30 people waiting.
Yeah, and this was the convention that I went to meet him, and I was worried that I wasn't going to get to meet him because the line was long and I knew the hours were coming up, and I was like, he's also supposed to do a Q&A, and he basically canceled the Q&A and just kept signing because he decided that signing things for people is more important than the Q&A.
Well, that's what I'd watched his YouTube series, like the My Morphin Life, and he talked about if they're in line, he's gonna stay there until the last person because they came to see him, so he's not gonna disappoint. So
that's very nice of him to do.
Yeah, and that whole day was interesting because I was there by myself. Michael wasn't able to make it. And I was sending him periodic updates like, oh man, I'm inching closer in the line and things like that.
I can see.
You gotta understand. I like JDF a lot, but JDF and Tommy Oliver is one of Michael's childhood heroes. So
yeah, it's my childhood hero. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sending him periodic updates and telling him what's going on. And Michael had texted me, was like, if you find this figure at one of the toy vendors, buy it and have him sign it for me. And things like that. So I've got stuff for him to sign for both of us. And, I'm doing all this stuff.
I'd been standing there with a Green Ranger helmet.
Yeah, and then after standing in line for hours, I get all of the things. And then I just text Michael and I say, I'm about to become your new best friend.
And here I am. I'm sitting outside. I'm sitting on my front porch. I'm smoking a cigar and just kind of relaxing for the rest of the evening. And he sends me this text. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna FaceTime me. Sorry, hot sauce. Hot
it's
sauce.
so painful.
Oh, hot sauce.
Oh, it burns. Oh, this is so inconvenient.
That's going to become my new favorite euphemism from now on. Oh,
hot sauce.
Hot sauce. He's gonna FaceTime me.
Hot sauce you.
Sauce that is hot.
Yeah, but he's gonna FaceTime me, and I'm gonna have to be on the phone with in the middle of this conference hall or whatever. So I got to get myself together. But no, he didn't. He wasn't like that. But Nathan was kind enough to get me an autograph, get JDF to cut a video for me and say hello.
That was JDF's idea, by the way. All I did was say, hey, I'm a co-host of a podcast, and my co-host couldn't be here. And he's like, you want to make a video for him? Sure.
Yes, Mr. Frank.
Well, I heard that he made y'all your introduction. I heard y'all talking about that.
Yes, that was the other thing. I was like, I'm going to see if I can get him to record a shout out for us.
the raw.
So that's what I did. I just sent this series of things to Michael. So picture of his autograph, the video greeting, the shout out that we can use for the podcast, and then I just sat there and I just waited. Just waited.
What was really funny was in the raw audio of that recording. JDF says, "What's the name of the podcast again?" Oh, okay.
I feel like he's one of those dudes. He remembers where he came from. It's all the stuff he does is but deep down he knows he's I'm the ultimate Power Ranger.
He's he knows that he'll retire the Green Ranger. He's not gonna.
Yeah.
He may be doing some other stuff out there, Legend of the White Dragon and some other things that he's involved in the martial arts school and whatnot. But he'll always be, and I think this is part of the hipster. I guess it's hipster culture. I don't know, to hate on stuff that's popular or hate on things just
it is
hate on them. But he'll always be the quintessential Power Ranger because he. And there's been other actors and actresses that do this too. This is not to undermine, Catherine Sutherland and some others that have, went to cons and who have a genuine love.
Yeah, I mean, JDF was one of 4 Power Rangers I met that day.
Yeah, Steve Cardenas and the rest, I'm sure, love this
Aaron
franchise.
Ashley. And I met the 6th Ranger from Operation Overdrive. His name escapes me, unfortunately.
Yeah, we won't talk about Operation Overdrive.
But not on this show.
Not on this show. We won't talk about that. But I'm sure those other actors and actresses are very grateful to be a part of this franchise as well, because it's afforded them to probably do and experience things that they probably wouldn't otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But JDF is that.
I got some inside information from Karen Ashley about what the actual scripted line was for the end of the movie.
Taking care
of
business.
Ivan Ooze.
Yeah, when she takes out Ivan Ooze, it wasn't taking care of business. They did a bunch of different takes. That wasn't the scripted line.
Now I'll wrap up. It just seems like JDF is probably is very humble about where he started.
Yeah. I said this because we did a little episode where I talked about that whole day, and one of the things that I realized watching that, and I had been kind of aware of it, but I really saw it in action, is I said that there's been a few actors who, they've been in genre stuff like this, and particularly like superhero media, where some of them probably got annoyed, at least for a while, about how closely they were associated with a particular thing, but then either whether it took them years or they did it immediately, they learned to embrace it and just kind of embrace that mantle. And JDF has very much done that with Tommy Oliver, and I can only think of a few examples to compare him to. It would be somebody like Christopher Reeve as Superman, who learned to embrace being Superman. He did a lot of other things, but he embraced being Superman. Yeah. And JDF, he's done some things outside of Power Rangers, but he really has embraced
Tommy Oliver.
But he's really embraced being Tommy Oliver, and he realizes that that the character of Tommy Oliver means a lot to people, and he's humble enough to not resent that, and I really appreciate that. Now, he's done very well for himself because of that. I mean, he's making this Legend of the White Dragon movie. He's not Tommy in that. He's playing, for what I can tell, he's playing a very different character from Tommy Oliver, which I think is good for him.
Yeah, he looks a lot like a biker, kind of, from what I've seen.
Yeah, he does. But he's in Legend of the White Dragon because he's Tommy Oliver.
Right.
Because he's JDF. That's why he's in it. And it's a Power Ranger pastiche movie. I thought for a long time it actually was Power Rangers. It's not. It's a pastiche, which will be interesting, and we are putting some serious thought into covering that on the show.
For the uninitiated, please explain what a pastiche is.
A pastiche, sorry, literary terms. A pastiche is something that is very, very similar to something else, but it isn't that thick.
I'm sure we had some listeners who went, why is he talking about pistachios?
Pistachios?
Those are the nuts that are hard to eat because they got the shell on them and everything.
And with the Power Trip, we've toyed around doing like Ranger adjacent things, like Big Bad Beetleborgs, Masked Rider. But as it stands right now, the Power Trip's only going to be like a 1-year experiment. Well, 1 year plus whatever the 30th anniversary season will be, of course. But
we've also toyed with doing some Super Sentai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would encourage y'all to do the Legend of the White Dragon, because there's going to be several people from Power Rangers that'll be in it.
Jason Font, JDF, Johnny Young Bosch.
We had recently talked with Serena Vincent from Lost Galaxy a couple episodes ago, and she said she's going to be part of it. So.
Oh, really?
She didn't say what, but she said she's part of it. So.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. But as it stands, we're definitely looking forward to it, because I'm sure we'll, this is kind of a 1-year deal. This is a 1-year gig, because I've already got a ton of other stuff I've got going on, and I told Nathan, I said, I don't know if I want to dedicate the rest of however long to talking about Power. As much as I love Rangers, as much as I love the Power Rangers, as much as I love this franchise, I don't know how long I'm going to do it or want to do it before it gets exhausting, before it becomes another chore. I know, Nathan and I have toyed around with the idea of after the podcast is done, compiling a book of essays about the Power Rangers, about the franchise, because we've noticed that there is no kind of scholarship works. Things like Godzilla and Kaiju and even comic book characters and things, they've gotten their kind of literary scholarship books in the past. Power Rangers is something that no one's ever really dug into, so I'm hoping that maybe that will be the first.
Get it on the ground floor.
Get it on the ground floor. So we're planning on doing some kind of book of essays at some point after the podcast is over, just because we think it'd be a good thing to do, and people would actually people, maybe our age or maybe a little bit younger that have, has that deep connection to the franchise would appreciate it.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of envious. You guys like, oh, we had this idea. We don't know where it's going to go. We're trying to wrap it up. I'm like, this was a conversation to have a podcast 3 years ago, and God, I hate these two now.
Well, it's kind of funny because the podcast that I started on, Kaiju Weekly, it was supposed to be a 5-episode commitment. I had met Travis in a mutual Facebook group, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come on my podcast? I have a podcast about Godzilla and giant monsters." And I said, "Sure, I'll do it." I had no experience with podcasting before, and Travis invited me to come on, and we did Frankenstein Conquers the World, Gamera versus Gauss, the first 5 or 6 episodes of the original 1966 Ultraman. Son of Kong, and the other one is escaping me right now. But
wasn't the one where you had me on for the first time?
Oh yeah, it was the interview. It was kind of the interview episode.
Oh, the state of the fandom.
The state of the fandom, which was, don't get me started on fandom.
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot's changed.
A lot has changed, but it started out as a 5-episode gig, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll do this. And I kind of caught the bug. I caught the podcasting bug, and I've been really blessed and fortunate to, meet wonderful people like Travis and Nathan here and some others. Our friend Danny DeMana, who has his own things that he's got going on that are really cool. But yeah, it's something I never really wanted to do, but I'm still doing it 3 years later, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do more. But now it's come to the point where I'm just like, how much more can I do before I burn out? And so I have to kind of make sure that I'm tempering my expectations and, regulating not just the behind the mic stuff, but with the personal life stuff and, stuff that I want to do for work. Like I said, I'm a full-time I'm an art director by day. I get the privilege of working from home, but that doesn't mean my job is less hour intensive. At least I sit in front of a computer all day and manage other graphic designers essentially is my job, and making sure brands stay on brand with things, and so sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to record a podcast because I've just sat in front of the computer for 10 hours and I don't want to do it anymore today. Yeah. So just leave me alone.
Unfortunately, he's learned that podcasting is like the mob.
I don't regret it. I think podcasting is a wonder. I think podcasting is a great medium for just kind of expressing your likes and interests. And I've been able to meet some really interesting people. Some better and some for the worse. But I
think we know which category we're in.
No, you guys. Honestly, we've. I'm not going to name names, but we've met some interesting people that we probably will never talk to again. You guys are not on that list so far.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But no,
no. On the scale of a-holery, I think you win.
No.
Scale of a-holery.
No, I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Or is this like I'm picturing like the machine from Top Gear where they had like the cockometer, how much of the cock you like when you drive past, and Richard Hammond drives and the thing just goes dong and like explodes. He's like, oh, he's broken the machine.
I mean, I can't be any more gatekeepery than our friend Elijah. So.
Oh, the littlest gatekeeper?
The littlest gatekeeper.
Although, I don't know. I do think we have occasionally gotten some pushback from people who are like, why are they being scholarly about Power Rangers?
Because you can.
Because we can.
Because we
basically.
can.
And no one else will
answer be. Why not?
Yeah, and
I mean, we've joked. Our running joke has been that I had a 3-hour PowerPoint presentation on the symbolism of astronomers' wigs. So.
That might be going above and beyond.
If you've listened to that episode, you understand that he's not that far off.
Because we do
at this point, it's an unhealthy obsession.
The wigs change color every couple of episodes until you get to a certain point.
And I'm very aware that there are people out there that just want to watch the thing for what it is and be entertained by it. And really, that's kind of as far as it needs to go with them, and that's fine. That's how fandoms and that's how you become fans of something.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that Nate and I wanted to do was we recognize that with all these other franchises and things getting a reevaluation, you got Batman, Superman, like Marvel stuff is getting all this reevaluation as essentially modern mythology. Like, why not Power Rangers? So what? They wear multicolored spandex. Who cares? You can still.
Doesn't every superhero wear multicolored spandex?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially,
who cares?
essentially.
They say more phenomenal.
Oh yeah, who cares?
I'm amazed I haven't hit any of those buttons until now.
I know you talked a big game when we were setting up, and that's the first one. It's been
he
2 hours.
He talks a big game, but never delivers all the time. So this is nothing new.
Says the guy who was premature with his dragon dagger during the quiz.
Premature interjection.
Premature interjection. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Oh boy, I guess. Yeah, I just didn't. No.
I feel like that should be the title of Michael's biography.
No.
Interjection.
When I get around to writing that, we'll workshop that.
No.
Premature interjection, a memoir by Michael Hamilton. I like it.
Forward by.
The weird thing is, I don't think I'm all that interesting. I'm just a guy who likes nerd things and who lives in a small town. So.
But that's all you need.
and podcasting equipment. And you are golden.
He says that, but I think he discovered that he's good at this podcasting thing. I'm just saying.
I'd say you guys are very good at it.
I'm only good at it because I've had a series of good co-hosts. I've had a series of good people to work with. That's the only reason I'm good at it.
And then he met you, Nathan.
Yeah.
Of course. I brought it right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that, but I persevere anyway.
He hired me for my scholarship, but once we get recording, it's just like, will Marchand ever shut up? Okay, I get it. Astronema is amazing. Shut up, Marchand.
It's been 35 minutes, Marchand. I haven't had a word in edgewise. Can I please talk now? Thank you.
Yes.
No.
Will you stop complaining about Turbo?
If it was not for you, Nathan, we would be at least a 4.2, not a 4.1 on iTunes.
What are we at?
I don't know.
Well, we won't talk about the feedback that you got for the first Power Trip article.
God, okay.
I feel like we're digging up the past and it's about to get ugly.
That's fair. Okay. So this person with very valid feedback, it's fine. Essentially said, your article's not very good because you didn't go through the history of Power Rangers. I'm like, well, there's other media that does that. I wanted to explore the thematics, and I guess they just couldn't get that. But whatever.
People are dumb.
People are dumb. But no, that is perfectly valid feedback. I'm a person that will take constructive criticism. I don't care one bit to be told I'm wrong or
you're wrong, Michael.
Except by Nathan. I will not be spoken down to by Nathan, at least. But
wrong.
I can take constructive criticism, unlike somebody I know.
Okay, fine, Travis.
Oh, we have a 5-star rating on iTunes.
Out of how many reviews?
2. No, wait. No, 4.
Nobody ever rates our stuff. We've tried.
No, we have 4 reviews.
Okay.
All 5 stars. I think one of them's me.
Don't say that out loud.
You gotta start somewhere.
I stuffed the ballot box.
Look,
I had to get the ball rolling.
Which one of us hasn't kind of padded their own podcast a little bit to get the score up a little bit better than it probably deserves? But that's another story for another day.
We've bribed friends to leave 5-star ratings. I mean,
we threaten people at this point.
If you don't leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes, I don't care.
If you
don't leave me a 5-star rating, you may not have a house tomorrow.
We've got 3 free passes to Ranger PopCon that we will gladly give away if you leave us a 5-star review.
See, they got it down. Because they're bribing.
We're too poor. We can't bribe.
Well, we
because there was who was it that gave those
something
to you,
happened to your house.
It was the guy from the Ranger Stop Shop.
That's right.
Yeah. I bought 2 Lightning Collection figures from him. In fact, he cut me a deal. He gave me a discount if I bought 2.
You still overpaid, but whatever.
Yeah, you probably overpaid.
Oh, really? I overpaid for Magna Defender and who was the other one I got?
Doesn't even remember. It was such a great deal.
I got Ninja Andros.
How much did you pay?
For Magna Defender and Ninja Andros, $50.
You overpaid.
They
were originally like 30 or 35 a piece. So.
I will say this. I will say that the black cloaked Andros has been difficult to find. So maybe you got off a little bit better than most people. But this business of charging folks $80, $90, $100 for the in-space silver is a little bit much.
Yeah.
That's some BS.
Especially since we've been told for months that it's a Walgreens exclusive. And my gosh, I have visited more Walgreens more often in the last 6 months.
Well, that's because it's not actually in stores yet. That's why.
Yeah, but I've been visiting so much. I'm sure those people are like, why does that weirdo keep coming in here? And
hey, you got the Power Ranger toys yet? Get out!
It's like it's the Dave Chappelle meme. You got any more than Power Ranger toys? As he scratches his crack neck.
It's pretty much like that. That's the real Power Ranger fandom right there. That's what it really is.
Yeah, I love In Space, and I'm like, I could potentially have a full team of Lightning Collection figures. Where's the freaking helper? I'm not sure it exists at this point.
No, it does. It's just you
not near you.
You had to be a Pulse member to get your.
Yeah, you had to be a Pulse member and pray that you got it within the 30 seconds it was available.
Well, it's you get into because I'm big into collecting. Like I'm on that collecting side of. I don't go as nuts as some people, but I like the replica helmets and the weapons and things like that. So, but I have a feeling because I heard a few months back that the reason why Mighty Morphin Pink was so hard to find for a while before they reopened pre-orders again was because it was a quote chase figure. So that just essentially means if anyone's listening and not familiar with like the collecting side of things, essentially when you have a chase figure, that just means there's a smaller, more limited run of that particular figure.
So people will chase it.
So people will chase after it. Yeah. So the Mighty Morphin Pink, and I've heard that In Space Silver is that way as well. So that's why.
One day you'll get it.
One day.
One day. And then I'll have, because there's only a couple, in the Lightning Collection, there's only a couple of actual complete Ranger teams. In Space is one. You can get all the Mighty Morphin figures.
Mighty Morphin, In Space, and Zeo are the ones that are complete right as of the time of this recording. That is what is complete.
As I look over at the cabinet and look at mine.
So are you part of the collecting side of things as well?
I only have one. I saw it at Walmart and it was like $15, and it's the red Zeo Ranger. And then I look at the giant Zeo Zord, the Mighty Morphin Zord, all the power coins, the Legacy Morpher, the Green Ranger helmet, the Red Ranger helmet, the Zeonizers.
See, I won't lie. Tom, he doesn't have kids. I have kids. So whenever something cool comes out, I'm like, Tom, buy this and I'll pay you back.
Yeah, that's how, the Lord Draken helmet that's coming out at the end of the year, that I pre-ordered for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael and our friend Danny and we've been doing favors like that for each other for a year now.
My friend Danny and we are just nesting in our bliss at this point. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment. I don't have any kids either, obviously, because that just never was in the picture for me and my ex-wife. But it's just essentially me and the cat and all my toys. So that's just kind of how I like it, to be honest with you.
He's an old cat gentleman.
I'm an old cat gentleman, yes. But yeah, I did pre-order the Draken helmet.
Cat lord?
All right, let's not get out of control.
Because a lady is a female lord. So Lord
Katten, whatever. It's getting off the rails. I did pre-order the Draken helmet. I have the Zed helmet sitting next to me. I just love the helmets. Like, I know, like, are some of the legacy stuff better? Yeah, kind of. I can see where people would say that, but I came in way too late to be able to afford any of the legacy stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's how I got the more for the coins and the Green Ranger helmet. Because I got the Green Ranger helmet. It was like $80
at the time.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, and now it's like $1,000, and I'm like, oh.
When I'm really shocked that Hasbro has not. That was not the one they came out of the gate with. They came out of the gate with They came out of the gate with the Red Ranger, I believe, or maybe it was the white. Because they only have 3. They have the white. They have white, pink, and red right now. I think blue and Draken. I think the blue one and the Draken one are coming next, but the blue one's not been released yet. But I think the rumor is the blue is going to be the next of the 5 to come.
I want to get that one.
The blue one will look phenomenal. I kind of want them to really want them to release a yellow Trini helmet, because you just don't see that one very often.
I wish they'd do the Zeo helmets.
Oh, the same. There's some fantastic artists that are kind of in these groups that do these different helmets, and I've come really close to getting one to commission an in space silver or a red helmet or something. I saw someone had done a Clipter helmet not too long ago. Just cool. Like a 1-to-1 replica of a Clipter's head, and it looked phenomenal. I cannot remember the artist's name though, but it was all like 3D printed, and it was gorgeous.
What's crazy is Christopher Kamen Lee, who played Andros. He's a Twitch streamer now, and he actually did a giveaway. He had one of the actual helmets. He got to keep one from the show, and he was giving it away in one of his streams.
Wow.
It was beat to crap. He called it the battle damaged helmet. It's definitely showing its age, but I'm just like, man, there's a very lucky, very happy Power Ranger fan out there who doesn't just own a replica, owns the thing.
Yeah. Well, guys, we really appreciate you coming on, but we're going to have to start wrapping up because we've still got to record another part too. So
that's perfectly fine, guys.
But we enjoy you coming on.
This was a blast. You guys are funny as hell.
if you want to promote your stuff again real quick before we finish up.
Sure, Mr. Marchand, I'll let you go first this time.
Oh, really? With your permission?
With my permission.
I don't need your permission, Ed. I'm kidding. Anyway, I'm Nathan Marchand.
Deal with? Come on.
You see what I have to deal with?
I'm a pleasure, sir.
Premature interjection.
You also think you're in charge of every room you walk into, even if you're not. As soon as we start recording, every recording session has to start with a mini rebellion, so I can remind Michael he is not the boss of me.
But someone has to be the alpha in the room, Nathan.
Yeah, unfortunately, 2 alphas walk into a room, and only one can come out because that's what Thunderdome is. Anyway. So anyway, I'm Nathan Marchand, the Michael's co-host on the Power Trip, and I mentioned Henshin Men and the Monster Island Film Vault. If you would like to check out my writings, like I said, I've got several books to my name. Actually, more like I think a dozen at this point. I've been at this for a while. My author website is nathanjsmarchand.com. Yes, I have 2 middle names and 2 middle initials, and no, they don't stand for Johann Sebastian.
That just means you mean business.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And there's usually a joke that goes along with that, but we've been at this for so long. I'm just like, you know what? I think I'll skip it for today.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Fine. NathanMarchand.com was a domain that was already taken, so I had to use both of my middle initials to get a domain for myself. I'm gonna find that guy.
Middle nameless Marchand.
I'm gonna find that other Nathan Marchand. And I'm going to leave him in the desert of despair or whatever other weird, random Power Ranger location that we have. I don't know. I hadn't come up with one for today's recording. But, so you can go check that out. And I'm a contributing editor and writer for Kaiju Ramen Magazine, so definitely check out Kaiju Ramen as well.
Yeah. So I'm Michael, co-host of the Power Trip podcast, along with my good friend Nathan here. I'm also one of the co-hosts of Kaiju Weekly. We publish episodes, weekly, as per the name. And
it's in the name.
It's in the name. We talk about Godzilla, Kaiju, and all the points in between. And we don't
Star Crash.
And we don't take ourselves too seriously.
As is evident.
We don't take ourselves too seriously. Honestly, add Star Crash to your list. I'm sure Hayden will love it. But also, if you want to learn more about everything we're involved in, just go to Kaiju Ramen Magazine, or Kaiju Ramen Media, I should say, .com, and you're going to find out everything about the podcast, the magazine we run, and all points in between. And I'm just going to say this has been a blast, fellas, and we really do appreciate you guys asking us to come on. We just appreciate you listening to the show. Even if we didn't get to come on and talk, it just gives us a little bit of hope that people actually care about what we're saying. So.
Yeah. I've been joking for about, I think, like 2 years at this point. It's like, who would have thought that the secret to getting popular was starting a podcast?
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, Nathan, I have to ask you a very important question. Do we want to end our stay here on this podcast with a power blessing?
We should.
Ooh,
because I already actually have one in mind while I was sitting here thinking about it. But Nathan, I task you to come up with one.
I got one. You ready?
I got one. You want to go first, or do you want me to go?
I want to hear yours first, in case so I can make sure I don't have the same one.
Okay. May you always be entertained by this.
Dang it! You stole it. Now I got nothing.
And may the power protect you.
Okay, there you go. I got nothing, and may the power protect you. Mitch, if one of you guys wants to say "May the power protect you," go for it. But
he already did.
If you're paying attention.
I'm not paying attention. I guess
he's too poor to pay attention.
He can't afford it. Shun him. All right, Mitch.
We'll
play the music.
We really appreciate y'all coming on. If y'all hang out for just a second, we'll talk to you a little bit more for just a moment. Thank you, everybody, for joining our conversation today. I'm Mitch.
Tom.
And goodbye.
Bah. Ah, yes. 30 seconds of just sitting there.
I mean, it's better than the 2 minutes it takes for Nate to get through his MIFV credit.
It also takes 2 minutes to do the Power Trip credit.